everyone, welcome back to my channel. I feel so weird with a full face of makeup on and no eyeshadow or mascara, but I just wanted to do a little, probably a pretty short video just on the Pat McGrath palette that I recently picked up. This is the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad in Fleur Fantasia. I can't believe that I own Pat McGrath, but from the moment I saw pictures of this palette, I knew one way or another I would own this palette, and so I figured, why not just buy it for myself? So I did pick this up. It looks like this. This is part of her holiday collection. She came out with 3 quads in this sort of format. This is one of them, and then her big $80 palette with a bunch of like pinky shimmers and such. So this is the one I picked up and I'm so happy with it. This is literally my makeup taste in a quad. If you watch my channel, you know I love pinks and I love purples. So I figured I would come on here, do some swatches, show you the eyeshadows in action, and just give you a better idea on if you think you should pick up this palette or not. I think I'm posting this on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and she has a Black Friday sale starting Monday. So it already started by the time you're watching this video. And I don't know if this palette will go on sale, but I also heard if you really want this palette but not want it enough to get it right now, if these are still in stock, they do go on sale after the holidays, but it's not a guaranteed. So do what you will with that information, but let me just do a little review on this because you guys have so far been enjoying my little reviews of new makeup. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let's get into the eyeshadow. So I think first, I guess I'll swatch everything. I feel so weird sitting here, but I guess I'll just go ahead and swatch everything. It comes with 4 shades, which you can't read on here, but I also swatched these on Instagram and have more pictures on there, and also in my highlights on my main page. I have a highlight of like all the makeup looks I do on a daily basis. I just share my look, and I did do a look with this palette and using this pink shadow, so I think today I will use that purple. But if you are interested, my Instagram is always down below. By the way, thank you guys so much for 800 subscribers. I cannot believe it because I gained 100 subscribers in a week, and I'm so close to getting 1,000 subscribers and also getting monetized, which is just mind-blowing to me. So thank you to everyone who has joined us here. Hello if you're new, and just I'm so mind blown. But anyways, first up is this shade up in the corner, and this one is called Hutopia. So this one I thought would be like my least favorite shade in the palette, but it actually is really gorgeous. So it looks almost like nothing, but it is like a shimmery shade. It's not a super impactful shimmer, so I think it's really great for every day, and it's like a cream peachy shimmer color with like pink undertones. So as you can see right there, I think this would be really pretty for an everyday look as that color on the lid to keep it a little bit more neutral, as this palette to me is still really everyday because these are my favorite shades, but it definitely is a little bit colorful. So this is the first shade. Again, I have swatches of these on my Instagram in a little bit better lighting, but the next shade is the shade Lavender Blue, which obviously was my favorite shade out of this whole palette. So this, I'm so excited to play with. Like, this is me in an eyeshadow. So here's the second shade, and like, just look at that. So the base is definitely like lavender, like it's a lavender base with a blue shift, and those personally I think are the prettiest, like almost duochrome type of shades. But this isn't so duochrome where it's almost like so shimmery and so out there. I think it's a really natural color. I think purples are some of the most natural shimmery colorful shades to wear, and this one is my favorite shade in the whole palette. I will swatch a shade in my collection that I think is similar to this, kind of, for if you want a shade like that but you don't want to spend the money on this, or if you want to see how similar it is. It's a JD Glow shadow. But next up is this pink shade, which is called Iridescent Orchid. This is the most impactful shimmer in the palette, as you can kind of see there, and I've worn this and it is a stunning shade. Like, just all of these shades are so gorgeous. So these are the 3 shimmers in the palette, and I like how you get a matte shade with it because I think this palette you can create a full look out of, and I think, I don't know, these shades are just so gorgeous, and it makes it so you can really switch around your looks and not be making the same look all the time with this palette. So I've seen on her Instagram, they combined these two shades. I've seen just the matte and one shimmer, which I will probably do, but I think you can have a lot of fun with this palette. And then the last shade is a matte shadow, and it's like a peachy pink matte. It is a little bit more vibrant and a little bit more colorful. It isn't exactly my skin tone, but I think on a deeper skin tone, this will be more natural on your skin, but personally, I really like it. Her mattes are so smooth and creamy in the pan. I'm so impressed with her eyeshadow formula. And so here is the matte. So as you can see, this color goes with literally every shimmer in the palette. So I find it's a really cohesive palette, and especially out of all of the three, I find I would get the most use every day out of this one. And I don't know, because not all of them have a matte in it, and you don't need one. This can definitely be a companion palette, but for me, this is a palette on its own, which is why I could justify spending a very high price tag. But I'm super impressed. The packaging is really nice. It's exact same as her original Mothership palettes, just not as heavy, and there aren't any special shades in here. So this is pretty pricey considering there aren't any special shades, but personally, I think this is my perfect palette, and I think she did really well with this palette. This one is by far my favorite out of all of them. They are all gorgeous, but this one is so pretty. So before I do the eyeshadow, let me just show you a similar shade for this purple one, because to me that's the shade that stood out the most. But if you don't want to spend the $60, I think, price tag, but you still want a fun purple, I have similar-ish dupes. There are a lot of purples out there that are like this, but I only have one. So like I said, my singles collection is really small, and I do want to get more purpley shades like this, but the one that I have is from JD Glow. It's right here. The pans are massive, and this is the shade Lavender, and I'll show you them in the pan. This is not the same as the Pat McGrath shade at all, but I think both are gorgeous in their own way. So this is Lavender. Let me just swatch it right next to it. This is definitely a more impactful shimmer. So it's right there. It's a definitely more impactful shimmer. You can also like not sheer it out, but apply it more lightly like that. But this is definitely more impactful, but I think if you blend it out, it's not exactly the same because it doesn't have that flip to it. But if you were looking for a purple shimmery shadow and you don't really mind that, but you don't really know what else to get besides JD Glow, or sorry, Pat McGrath, I would definitely check out JD Glow Lavender. It is one of the most beautiful shadows in my collection, as well as a ton of other indie brands have similar purple shadows. I think the most unique shadow is probably this top shimmer. I haven't seen a ton like that. And these can all definitely be duped by indie shadows if you do want to save some money or support a smaller brand, but I don't regret buying this palette at all because I have all of these beautiful shades in one palette. So I'm gonna wipe this off and then we will do an eyeshadow look. Also, I know people on Instagram do like a dupe the vibes or like duping these palettes. I've seen a ton where people dupe the palettes, and it doesn't always make me want to only get single shadows, but it also makes you realize that if you have most of the shadows but you're just missing a few, you could always go for the singles. Or sometimes even with a palette, it makes me realize that I really am only drawn to a few of the singles, because if I look at the dupe, I'm like, well, I only want to buy a few of those, and then I'm like, okay, well, why am I buying the palette? So anyways, let's go in with this palette. I think I'm gonna do a really simple look and start with this shade in the crease. It's the shade Lotus Paradise. Is it? Yes, Lotus Paradise. I'm gonna take that shade on a Morphe GH34 brush. It's just a really good crease brush, and this shade is pretty pigmented, so I'm only gonna take a little bit on my brush. And then I have really hooded eyes, so I like to kind of look forward to see where my eye creases and then put the brush right in there. So that's lightly in the crease. So I'm just gonna deepen up the crease a little, and I will go back and see how much I want on the actual lid once I put down a shimmer. Okay, so that applied super easily. I'm just gonna go in with my e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush. I use like all the same brushes for all my looks. So if you saw my previous Get Ready With Me with the Baby Yoda palette, it's almost all the same brushes. But I'm just gonna blend that out a little bit, and then I don't know where exactly to take this look, so I wanna go ahead with the shimmer to see where I want the rest of the eyeshadow placement. So this is the Lavender Blue. I'm just gonna take that on my finger and apply it to basically my entire mobile lid. I accidentally got a little there, but Definitely compared to the JD Glow, I find this is more of a satiny shimmer. It's not a satin matte, but it's not that super bold and vibrant shimmer like that, where it almost is like super reflected and like, think like Natasha Denona Silk, like that kind of shade. Like basically any shimmer shade Tara Brooke is wearing on her eyes, that's not what this is. This is a little bit more subtle, subdued, which I think is really pretty, especially with a more colorful shade. I find this doesn't stand out quite as much. Again, I love both. So I'm just putting this all on the mobile lid, not taking it into the crease, but I'm kind of bringing it up to meet that pink-ish shadow, just like that. And I find when I open my eyes, it is still really pretty. Let me turn down the brightness. Okay, I know it is hard to see because I don't have a ton of direct sunlight, but this is the eyeshadow so far, and then I'm going to go back in with the original Morphe brush and that matte shade and just build up the color a little bit and help blend in that shimmer. So it's gonna go a little bit farther down, and as you can see, build up the color a little bit. And this is such a simple look, yet it still looks so gorgeous, and these shadows just blend out so easily that I find it looks like you spent a lot more time on it than you did. Again, going in with the e.l.f. brush just to blend out the edges a little bit. I'm actually really enjoying this eyeshadow look. I find it's not super pinky and intense, yet it's still so my vibe. So I might add some of that color on the outer corner, but first I'm going to add some to the lower lash line. I'm going to take my Real Techniques base shadow brush. It's just a flat brush, but it's still a little bit fluffy, and I'm going to take that right on the tip of the brush and just run that right on the lower lash line. I used to never do lower lash line eyeshadow, but now I feel like I look bare without it, so I've always been doing this. I'm gonna kind of bring it out to meet this outer edge, which kind of got blended out of hand, but I think it'll all come together, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. I'm just gonna take the tiniest bit on the flat side and just tap that on the outer corner of the eye. I don't want it to be super bold, but I want to help connect it, and I find this also wings out my eye a little bit instead of making them completely round. I think it just blends the lower lash line a little bit better so it doesn't look like it came out of nowhere. Again, I'm not an eyeshadow pro at all, so do whatever you want with this palette. This is just typically how I do my eyeshadow regardless of the colors. And I will show you this without the ring light on. It's just I find it looks a little bit better with the light on until I'm done. Okay, so that's what the eyeshadow is looking like. I don't think this shade works the best as an inner corner highlight, but I can try putting it there just to see. I think it is a little bit too dark, but this is what the eyes are looking like. So this is it without a light on. It's not the best lighting, but maybe you get a better sense of the shades, and like I still feel like it looks fairly natural. Obviously in real life it looks a little bit more vibrant because right now it is a little dark in here, but I think the shimmer is still so wearable, and this peach shade I feel like will go with so many looks that I'll do with this palette. I said this would be a short video and I feel like it's taking forever, but I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the peach shade on the outer corner and then I will be right back. Okay, so I just went ahead and brought it a little bit more inward and blended it with the purple shimmer, which I find still adds a little bit of, not depth, but it frames the eyes a little bit, and I think this will be the eyeshadow look. I think I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna take a Morphe M421, which is a really stiff flat brush with a little bit of the lighter shimmer, the Hutopia one, and just do a little bit on the inner corner. I don't know if it's the best shade for me on my inner corner. I think on deeper skin tone I think on deeper skin tones it will be a little bit more vibrant, but it just adds a little bit of color there. Again, I need to play around with the shimmer more, and I need to look around on Instagram to see what kind of looks people are creating with this, but I think my friend Taylor, I think her name is Taylor Beauty Edit, Tailored Beauty something on Instagram, but she has this quad, and I think she said that this is one of her favorite shades, which was really unexpected. And so I need to see what kind of looks she's creating, or like how she uses it, because It is a really pretty shadow, but I'm always going to be drawn to the purple and the pink. So this is the eyeshadow. Let me show you again. It looks a little bit messy, but it's because I'm getting a little bit of eczema on my under eye, so my concealer is just a little bit of a mess. But that's the eyeshadow, and in real life it is blended. But I'm gonna go ahead and add mascara, and I will be right back. Okay, so that is mascara on the upper lash line. I use my Marc Jacobs At Lashed. Not my best application of it, but my go-to mascara. So this is how the look turned out, and I'm really happy with this. You will probably end up seeing this in another video because I'm filming something right after this, but I'm so happy with this and so happy with these colors, especially that purple is definitely my favorite from the palette. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see more like reviews of newer products that I get in, or if you want to see videos where I highlight just a product or two, because I know sometimes I do get ready with me using a ton of new products, and sometimes I'll do like a single review. So I have another Pat McGrath palette, so I will be featuring that in a get ready with me sometime, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you picked up this palette or how you feel about these palettes, or what shade is your favorite, whatever it may be. Check out my Instagram for more pictures of this beauty and my other Pat McGrath palette, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!